Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas from Mindful Therapies. I'm Victoria.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Mark.
We are going to be, or I'm going to be talking a little bit about looking back at 2020 and some of the thoughts and memories from that. It's been an unusual year, to say the least. And when I look back on 2020, I think the first time we went into lockdown, I think I bypassed it a little bit. I think I've been doing a lot of that over 2020. So when we went into second lockdown, I think that's when it kind of really hit, if you like, that this is here. It's going to be with us for a long while. And so when I'm thinking about those things and accepting that I'm worried and fearful, then I can start looking back at 2020 about some of the things that happened that were positive as well, like the walks that I went on, seeing things in a different way and being able to appreciate that. And it always brings to mind when I was doing a Facebook Live, and I'd press some button, because, you know, me and technology, I mean, I get by with it, but so in terms of what I've learned with technology, so I'll tell you a bit about the time I was on Facebook, pressed the wrong button, and I had a hat and sunglasses on. And I just went into a panic, and I was like asking people, I was saying, have I got a hat and sunglasses on? In the horror of it, and just keep going, keep going with it. And I did eventually find out through the help of other people. So that's me. Yeah, so that's me coming to terms with technology.
I think it's also, it was you learning, and I think all of us have had to learn not to take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, exactly. And that is a good thing. It's that it's also bringing human things, accepting, sitting with how we're feeling, and what I find comes from that is acknowledging, sitting with how I'm feeling. When I can do that, out of that, then there's some other things come in, more positive memories. And like I say, you know, we're surrounded with pictures from the Mindful Therapies community, you know, pictures of Shima, the famous cat now, and seeds and flowers. Yoga became a big thing, and still is for me. So yeah, coming to terms of technology, the fun we had as well. I mean, was the care packages that went out, they come to mind as well. A friend of mine that I met about 5 years ago in a class that I was doing, she set about making masks. She was just like a production line, and sent those masks to me so that I could pass them on to other people. So there's loads of things starting to flood in there with all those positive things and little wins. And I'm wondering if my colleagues have any thoughts on their
In terms of what I'm grateful for 2020, I think what I keep on thinking, and people have said this to me, like, 2020 was supposed to be a really difficult year, and you seem like you're the happiest you've ever been. and so that's quite nice to kind of have reflected back. And I think it's given me the opportunity just to really appreciate the simple things, being with my cat, making my home how I want it to be, going for walks and things like that, which I didn't really have before in the same way. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I think as many of you know, I quite often sort of use quotes or books from people. There's Full Catastrophe Living by John Kabat-Zinn, and the term full catastrophe living, I think 2020 has been the full catastrophe, and that isn't all negative, that's just everything. And I've got so many things I can look back and be grateful for from the beginning of the year. Starting my yoga teacher training, which I just finished, so I'm now a yoga teacher. I've started learning Spanish, and I'm on a 76-day streak now on an app, which I won't name.
You know this isn't the BBC.
I realise this isn't the BBC, but there are other apps available.
Are you waiting for us to be kind of snapped up by the BBC and be like the mindfulness correspondent?
That could well happen.
That could be the 2021
That would be the gratitude for 2021 one.
2021 one.
2021 one. But some of the simple little things, I had 3 months during lockdown where both my children, who are now adults, were back at home, and I got 3 months with them that I would never have had. Because they would have been living their lives in other parts of the country. But we got that time together, and that was lovely. I've sorted the garden out. It's a bit of a mess again, but sorted the garden out. Sorted the loft out. We had a new roof fitted and tidied up and created a space where I can go and listen to music. There's so many different little things that have happened through the year that I am really grateful for. A little bit like Rachel was saying, it was, although as everyone has been affected by the pandemic, affected by the restrictions, there are so many little things that I can point to that are really positive, and it's so easy to focus on the big negative. But actually, I will look back on 2020 as not a bad year at all, because there were a lot of really nice things happened, and a lot of those were very simple things because I had the space and time to do that, and probably won't happen again.
Sounds like really what we're talking about is perspective, which takes us onto the exercise that I'd like us to have a go at today. There you go. You're doing it in a notebook. So grab yourself some paper and a pen. Try not to fall off your chair.
There's the humour. And I haven't had any eggnog.
So grab yourself some paper and a pen if you'd like to join in with this exercise. And this is an exercise you might have tried before. And often when I do it, I use it as a way of reflecting on a day, or reflecting on something that you found challenging. This time, it's going to be perspective for 2020. So first thing I'd like you to do is, in the middle of your bit of paper, I want you to draw a sad face. Bring it up to look something like that. Make sure you've got plenty of space around the outside of your paper, because there's going to be more to put in. And then I want you to think back over 2020 to something that you might have experienced that was challenging. There's probably plenty of things you can think of, but just pick out one. I want you to write it underneath. So I'm going to put for mine the second lockdown, because I found that quite challenging, particularly as it was it's been getting dark, it's been colder. I think there's just been a general feeling that a lot more people have been struggling you know, in that kind of November lockdown compared with over the summer. So then I want you to look at your bit of paper with your sad face and what you've written, which might look something like this. I've added some hair and a moustache to my sad face. And just notice how that makes you feel. So, how do you feel, Mark and Victoria, when you look at your sad face and what you've written next to it?
Oh, sad.
Your voice has changed and everything.
Yeah. I went for the B. I just went COVID-19, and yeah, just looking at it, all different things come through. The businesses that have closed, the people who've lost their jobs, the people who've died, the people who suffering from long COVID, the impact on everybody's lives, the sadness about people who weren't able to meet and spend Christmas together. It's just, it feels massive when it's just there on its own.
And how about yourself?
I'd put family
As your difficult thing?
Yeah. And there's lots of elements to that, but it brought up a lot about kind of thinking about my parents, that type of thing, not being able to see me brothers, which normally would be a much more regular thing.
So being separated from
Yeah.
people that you wouldn't want to be separated
Yeah.
from. Yeah. So once you've done that, I want you to do 5 smiley faces around the outside. And make them at least the same size as your sad face, if not bigger. You can pause this video so that you've got time to do the drawing. If we were like Blue Peter, we could have done it. Here's one I prepared earlier. But you're just going to have to deal with the sound of drawing. Do all of them moustaches now. So you'll then have something that looks a little bit like this. And this is where it may get challenging. Next to each of the smiley faces, I would like you to think of and write down a positive thing for 2020. And I think what's really important when we're doing this to remember, so Mark has written COVID-19 as his sad thing, I put second lockdown as my sad thing. They're both pretty big things. It doesn't matter how small the good things are, as long as we have 5 positives, 5 things that we're grateful for, even if it doesn't seem like, even if it seems insignificant in comparison, just put them down anyway. So one of mine is spending time with Shima, my cat. My next one is that I ran a marathon. I ran a virtual marathon. So earlier on in December, it was spread across 10 runs, but I took up running again, which was lovely. 3 more positives. Doing Zumba on Zoom, which I wouldn't have done before. It meant that I got to do Zumba with my mum, who's in Liverpool, and that's been lovely. What else? 2 things that I've appreciated this year. Oh, I did have a week away. Forgot that I'm a week away. But
Things you appreciated.
oh, did I appreciate any people? Let's see. Did I appreciate any people? Ooh.
Anything.
Suppose Mark and Victoria. So once you've got your list of things that you appreciated, things that have gone well this year, I want you to look at the whole picture. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. And just notice how it feels when you look at the whole picture. What did you two notice for yours? Oh, first of all, did you manage to come up with 5 positives?
Yeah, well, I ended up doing 6.
Oh,
Because I didn't, well, I can't leave out any of these because I think they're all, and I touched on some of them earlier. There's time with family, there's the yoga teacher training, yo hablo español. Learning new tech skills, but my colleagues, and the support of my colleagues, particularly during the first lockdown when I was furloughed and my colleagues held the fort and kept the organisation running, and the support of my colleagues. And the other one was this could have been 2 separate ones. I could have put Fish Quay. I live in North Shields. There's a Fish Quay there. It's a lovely walk, and you can see out to the sea. And when you look out at the Fish Quay, and you can see the mouth of the Tyne, and it opening up, you see the vastness of it all, and there's just something very, very grounding about it. But also, and as we're not on the BBC, Collingwood's fishmongers, awesome. They stayed open throughout, and my love of fish and seafood during certainly the first lockdown, and learning new recipes with various types of fish was a joy.
So how did it feel then to look at the bigger picture?
It just reminds me that there was so much good in 2020.
And how did that feel?
It feels really positive. It feels lighter. I feel lighter because of it. Because I can see that thing in the middle, and it's there, but if I look at the whole thing, there's so much smiley faces. There's so much, so much positive there. That thing, no matter how big it is it's just one of so many other things that have happened in 2020.
How about yourself?
Yeah, even when I started drawing the smiley faces, like loads of things were coming into my mind, so it made us feel like a bit more joyful, more positive about things.
I think we've got time for some little wins as well.
Yeah.
So another way of thinking about how we look back over a year that's passed. Often we look back and we have a tendency as human beings to be quite harsh on ourselves. We'll look back and go, oh, well, I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. We'll look back and we'll remember every little thing that we've done wrong. For the next couple of minutes, my invitation to you is to notice your little wins. And those little wins are just those little seemingly insignificant things that we've done or we've achieved that actually, when they mount up, when they add up, they're not insignificant at all. So we'll do that as a kind of meditation reflection. So find yourself a comfortable meditation posture. If you're sitting, then I suggest having your feet flat on the floor, reasonably upright. Lightly closing the eyes. Just doing whatever you need to do to establish a sense of being grounded. And just checking in with how you are right now. And then casting your mind back over the year. And just connecting with any little wins, any little achievements. So this might be how we've maintained our friendships, how we've supported one another. It might be how we've practiced self-care. It might be just our resilience in managing some of the challenges of the year. It might have been doing some tasks we've been avoiding, developing new skills. We might also connect with what we've learned over the year about ourselves, about the world, about technology. And just connecting with your own achievements, your own little wins. Noticing how that feels. And then letting go of any reflections, thoughts, images, just staying with a sense of yourself in this moment. Noticing any sounds around you, and opening your eyes when you're ready.
Ting.
Ding.
Ting.
So let's do, hopefully everyone watching came up with some examples of little wins. Would anyone like to share just a brief, simple little win for this year?
Would you like to go first, Victoria?
Would I like to go first, Mark? Well, I don't know if it's how it classes as a little win, but becoming more immersed in mindful therapies, and even people that I've known for a while, just building stronger bonds with the people involved here, and hopefully that'll grow. That'll be for a later date to talk about.
Yeah. I'm trying to hold back on all the work-related ones because there's loads of things at work that, mindful therapies that there's been loads of wins, and sometimes it's difficult to kind of separate all of that out. But my win for this year is putting up my own mirrors. And I bought these mirrors, I looked at them, thought, I can't put them up. Self-limiting belief.
Yeah.
I had them sat there, and then I thought, hang on a minute, why can't I put them up? Who says I can't put them up? Do you know what I did? I put them up.
I don't want to repeat anything I've said before, but there is a little win which is really quite insignificant in the grand scheme of things, that is really quite important, and most people would go, well, why did you have a problem with that? But as some of you know, I've suffered 3 or 4 attacks of gout throughout the year, and I've got medication, allopurinol, and it didn't seem to be working. So I've actually made the effort to get a blood test, to get it checked out, and they're going to up my dose. And it's actually, my little win is actually taking some action to deal with a recurring problem. I suppose the other part of that little win is I've started taking my, I used to keep on forgetting to take my tablets, and I've gone now for a good few months where I've not missed a day.
I would say that that's a win for us now, nagging as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say there was a bit of nagging involved in that, of course.
Speaking of nagging.
And what's your perspective on 2020? Your final
words,
thoughts?
final thoughts. I think just as a lot, you know, I love music. I mentioned music earlier, and I did a series of videos around the beauty of words. I just like to slightly paraphrase a Christina Aguilera song. Thank you, 2020. Thank you for making me so much stronger. Thank you for making me a fighter. Because I do think that 2020 is shown us that we are resilient, both as individuals and as a species. And yeah, I think 2020 has taught us a lot. And I think we can take that with us for challenges that we face in the future. And I welcome those challenges. I welcome 2021 and all that it offers, the good and the bad. I look forward to experiencing whatever 2021 brings. And I wish you all a happy new year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.